Hi, my name is Becca. Thank you for coming to my channel. I am a homeschool mom to 3 kids, ages 5.5, 2.5, and 2.5 months. If you are hearing noises in the background, that would be my 2.5-month-old. I'm just nursing her, so please excuse the noise. But today my video is just going to be talking about how I'm able to juggle homeschooling while also being a working mom. So right now I am on maternity leave, but I am considered a full-time registered nurse with one of the local hospital systems around here. And if you're familiar with how scheduling works in the hospital, I am a 0.75, so that means roughly I work 2 days 1 week and 3 days the next. And I'm able to juggle doing that while being a mom and also homeschooling. So if you like this kind of video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel a lot. And you can leave a comment down below either with any questions that you have, or if you are a working homeschool mom, you can leave some tips down below too. I know that homeschooling really exploded when COVID happened. Thankfully, my husband and I have always wanted to homeschool, so that's something that I had researched even before we got to the point of homeschooling our oldest. But I know that there's a lot of people out there who just for one reason or another maybe had their child in public school or private school and then pulled them, or just last minute decided that they wanted to homeschool at home. And so I know that there's a lot of parents out there that are looking for some tips and tricks on how they're able to pull it off. So one thing that we are able to do to be able to make this work for our family is we are year-round homeschoolers. And so that means that we don't follow a traditional public school calendar season. We do schooling in the summer as well. One of the reasons why we do that is because if I am working 2 or 3 days that week, we don't do schooling on those days, and then on the days where I am home, that's when we do school. Now, that's not to mean that they're not actively learning on the days where I'm at work. My husband does not work on the days where I work. We're able to have a flexible schedule, so that way someone is always home with the kids, which is a big blessing to us. But my husband doesn't do the primary teaching for school. So they might do some nature study things where they're outside, but they're not doing any of our core curriculum. So since we are doing year-round homeschooling, that gives us a lot more flexibility. I know some people who do year-round homeschooling do 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or they still do school 5 days a week and do it that way. For us, it just works out that we get our breaks on the days where I am working, and then we still have extra time during the year that if someone is sick, or if I'm picking up extra shifts, if it's Christmas or anything like that, we're still able to take that time off. Another thing that we do is that I do not make rigid schedules. Now, some people that might work well that way. My brain just doesn't work that way. And I find a lot of the time, especially since my son is still really young, is that if I plan to do math, reading, geography, all of our subjects in one day, it might be a day where it's overwhelming for him, or maybe it's really nice and we want to go outside. And then I had this battle of constantly feeling like we were behind when we really weren't. I was just overscheduling our day. So what I do instead is, if we're going to do school and we're going to do let's say we're going to do a half day of schooling, we're always going to hit our reading and our math. Those are the 2 most important ones for our family, since he is so young and he's still learning those things. If we're doing a full day of schooling, we might do reading and math, and then Right now for our science unit, my son wanted to do anatomy, so we're doing anatomy for science. And then maybe I'll make a video about the anatomy curriculum that we're kind of doing at another time. But we're doing anatomy, and then for geography/history, excuse me, we are doing a curriculum from Little School of Smiths. We're doing them for anatomy as well, but we're talking about currently Christopher Columbus. Excuse me, the allergies in Minnesota are really bad right now, so I apologize, but we're doing that. So we'll hit all of those, and that would be a full day of schooling for us. Now, because we also year-round school, I am able to make our school days shorter. I do not think, one of the benefits of homeschooling is I do not think that any child of any age really should be forced to sit down and do 6 to 8 hours of school in a day. That's just not realistic, especially for a young child, or especially a young boy. He has a lot of energy and he wants to get out and he wants to play, and I want him to be able to do those things. So even if I do a full day of schooling, it's only about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I do not do rigid schedules, and that works really well for us. The third thing that I do with our schooling is I do family style or unit studies. So like I had mentioned before, I do have a 2.5-year-old daughter, and obviously she is not schooling. I'm not pushing anything on her at this point, but she wants to do everything that her big brother is doing. And so if we do a family style type unit, I'm able to incorporate her in some of those things. I might set her up with some painting, or I might have her draw a picture, or she could flip through a book that we are reading through, things like that make her feel included. And as we get further into our homeschooling journey, when both my younger ones are involved in school, I can reuse that curriculum, and we can sit down and do a subject together. Now, I know it doesn't work for every family, and there is kind of this movement, especially if you go on to other platforms, social media platforms, where people are saying, oh, do the family study because it makes life so much easier. I know it doesn't do it for everyone, but for our family, it really, really does help. This curriculum tends to be cheaper, or at least the ones that I have selected for our family. But I can pick books and stuff like that are more geared to my younger children as well as my older children as well. And that does help, keep them occupied while I'm trying to do some of the schooling. And that doesn't always work, but this morning, for example, did not work well for us, and that's okay. We'll just do schooling at another time when my daughter is to be able to be occupied doing something else. The last thing that we also did to make things easier on myself as a working homeschool mom is that we choose curriculum that's open and go. So a lot of the things we choose, either I'm able to set it up all in advance, I go through the whole thing and I make sure that I have all the materials needed, or I just purchase a curriculum that's open and go to begin with. So our math that we did for kindergarten was The Good and the Beautiful, and that was really nice because it literally has in blue writing what you're supposed to say to your child, or what you need to set up, and then it tells you word for word what you need to say to your child in black. And the math lessons are at most 2 pages. It comes with all the manipulatives and everything as well, and so that was really beneficial for us. Some of the other stuff that we did with like Build Your Library, it lists everything out for me. So I'm not a homeschool mom where I build my own curriculum. I would much rather pay someone else for their time and setting that up for me. And then when I would do like Build Your Library, every few weeks I would just go onto my library's website and I would reserve the books that I needed for the next couple of weeks, and then I would collect them all and then use those, and then I would just purchase the spines, and that worked out really well for us, for our family. So those are the things that we do that make homeschooling really work for us. If you have any other advice to other moms that are maybe looking for that, you can leave them down below. Otherwise, thank you for stopping by my video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.